So, a quick background on myself. I've been working for the past 20 years with both plumbers and commercial properties alike. My goal's always been to build a relationship with my customers in the hopes of partnering with them to bring real world key solutions to their needs. Again, real solutions to real problems. That's always been our goal, and that's our motto here at Capital Distribution. Um, we want to provide things that are going to help problems that are out there in the real world is what it really comes down to. We're not here to sell products, we're here to sell solutions, and that's what we strive to do every day. So our agenda today, I'm going to provide a quick overview about my company and what we do and some of the products that we offer. We're going to have a presentation from Jason from Wood Brothers. Then I'm going to give a presentation regarding the smart valve, and also we might actually have the manufacturer of the smart valve pop on to give a quick overview on the new version of the valve that's come out. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you have an immediate question, you can certainly pop it into the chat box there on the bottom right. And if you can hold it to the end, no matter whether the question's for Jason or for myself, if you can hold them to the end, we're going to have plenty of time for Q&A because I'm all about giving you guys just the basics and let you fire away with questions to us. So that's my goal, is to give you guys as much time as possible to ask all the questions to make sure we can get everything answered for you. So quickly, a little bit about Capital Distribution. We're a master distributor of Calefi products, which includes everything from is the Lead Geo Mix. And what that is, it's a self-cleaning electronic mixing valve that you can actually program to run a thermal disinfectant program, which eliminates Legionella within your system. So as many of you have seen over the last few years, especially, I mean, it's more common in nursing homes. I know many of you are not from nursing homes. I think we might have one or two on here, but it is becoming a bigger problem. We've seen it pop up in hotels. We've seen it pop up in certain apartment complexes as well. So it's something just to keep in mind. We're also going to talk a lot about the smart valve, which is the money-saving device that helps users save up to 30% on water and sewer costs. Another one of our solutions is Water Signal, which is a protection device. It provides you daily usage on your water and sewer, daily updated usage, all on a dashboard on your desktop, or you can even get it to your phone. But more importantly, it also provides you with a real-time alert via text and email in case you have an abnormal use of water on your property, which usually signifies a leak. So it's kind of peace of mind there, knowing that you have a device that's not only going to tell you your updated totals and make it easier for you to track your usage within your property, but also give you a real-time alert in case there is something abnormal going on and you need to address that right away. Obviously, the longer it takes to identify a leak, the more money you're going to waste. So Water Signal is one of the solutions for that. And then we're going to talk about water filtration and treatment, which actually leads me to introducing Jason, who's from Wood Brothers. And he's going to take off here for a few minutes and give us a little overview on some of their products. So Jason, let me just see if I can get your mic unmuted. And let's see what we can do here. Okay, Jason, can you try your mic now? See if that works. It should be. I guess Jason, we're having some trouble getting his mic going. Let me see if I can open this up to. Mics, and Jason, if you can Just waiting for Jason to call, and I apologize, everyone. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. Jason, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, there we go. Sorry about that, everyone. Sorry about that. Let me get you to your slide here, and you can fire away. But go ahead, start off. I'm sorry.
All right. How's everybody doing today? My name's Jason. I'm with a company called Wood Brothers Industries. We're a water treatment wholesaler. We've been in business since 1972, so we kind of have an idea of what we're doing with some of these products. Mike and I have been talking for a while here, trying to get some stuff put together to fit the applications we're looking at, to work in stride with the smart valve. Some of the things, like up front, the Encore line is something that we developed to have like a flagship product line. And so that ion Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I've got it now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very sorry about that. I'm not sure that this has been Jason. So yeah, we lost you about 2 minutes ago, and I got it corrected now. So I think we're good.
No problems. So I don't know what I got covered there with you, but so I'm with Wood Brothers Industries. We are an OEM manufacturer. We handle water treatment. We've been doing this since 1972. We range anything from residential on to very large commercial applications. Some of the stuff Mike and I have talked about, you see here in front of you, the Encore lineup, is some of our product that we felt that would fit the application of what we're looking at. These units they're a filtration unit. This one specifically, it's going to cover things like chlorine, chloramine removal, taste and odor. It's got an anti-scalant in it. It's a good overall unit for filtration to get clean water. You can see the different medias in there. What they'll do, you have different levels in this filtration where you have chlorine removal. You have, like, with chlorine, the city supplies have ranged from chlorine. They've reached out to chloramines. They've started adding ammonia to the chlorine to make a chloramine. So the outreach is further. It's harder to strip, so we have to go to a catalytic carbon to make this happen. The Catalox media we use in here, it does a good job of picking up hydrogen sulfide, heavy metals. It's got a 3 to 5 micron filtration rating, so it's going to pick up sediments that may be in the water. It's a great overall, pretty well maintenance-free unit. It's a backwashing unit. Every 4 or 5 days, it's going to go into a backwash. There's really no maintenance to the thing. We do offer it with a couple different valve versions. One thing we did talk about a little bit is having a Bluetooth valve that we can offer this with as well. That just gives you some more information. It's kind of nice to have. You can see water flows, peak water usage. There's a lot more tracking information that you get with that valve. This is a salt-free system, so it's a conditioner. It doesn't remove hardness per se. It alters the state of the hardness to what it'll do. So you don't have the bonding that you would have with a calcium buildup on, say, faucets and things like that. These units they're just not going to bond. It's going to wipe up very easily. You're going to get a fresh, clean water that's chlorine free, sediment free. It tastes better, smells better. It's better for your skin, better for your hair. Probably go to the next slide. The Reveal is a unit. There's a lot of softeners out there, and there's a lot of just standard softeners. This unit, we decided to build a unit that is kind of an all-in-one product. This unit softens. It also picks up chlorine, chloramines, and some heavy metals. It'll pull heavy metals out of the water. A lot of city supplies or any water supply anymore, they have a lot of contaminants in them. They all meet an acceptable level that's placed out there, but sometimes acceptable levels they're just not great for you. You know, there's still things in there that we want to get out of the water to have a healthier, cleaner water. This unit will do that. We can remove hardness with this unit. We use the catalytic carbon again for chlorine and chloramine removal. That KDF 55, that's going to keep that tank bacteria static so you won't get any growth in this. It picks up some heavy metals and pulls them out of the water. The one thing we do with this unit is a reticulated media versus a granular media. And I believe we will cover that a little bit later here, but it changes our ability to have to increase water usage. With a granular media, we have to increase water usage when we're trying to regenerate this unit. This unit does work off of salt, an anion exchange, or we are exchanging sodium for the calcium and magnesium in the water. So there is a touch of maintenance with a unit like this as far as keeping up with salt in the brine tanks, where the other one is strictly a backwashing unit. You don't have a regenerant that you have to add to it.
Jason, real quick question there. We have a lot of property managers, that have obviously, hundreds of units within their buildings. These seem to be smaller sizes. Do you guys make the larger sizes to do complete buildings?
So absolutely, yes. Sorry, I'm glad you asked that. We do have the ability to, with commercial units, we can get into commercial units to treat at point of entry as opposed to point of use, where if you get several hundred units, let's say you get a 30 unit building, instead of going point of use in each of those 30, we can treat at the source where you're actually just taking care of the whole building in one shot. They're going to take up a little bit of footprint, but it's absolutely a possibility to go point of entry as opposed to point of use.
Great.
And those we would look at that as application specific. We touched a little bit about that. On something like that, we don't want to throw a one size fits all unit at that. We would look at the individual application and size it correctly so it's the most efficient and economical treatment for that application.
Sounds great. Now it sounds like a custom fit for each building based on their needs.
Correct. Yep. So this is going to be a point of use, reverse osmosis. This is great if you're not looking for treating all the water, you're just looking for a good fit for the drinking water, or feeding a refrigerator. This unit here is reverse osmosis. So you're going to feed water into it. It's going to store. It takes a little time to build water, as far as, it's hard to, reverse osmosis is a great point of use for drinking. You're not going to use this for any shower water or anything. This is solely going to be a drinking water unit. So going back to the Reveal, you saw it. I spoke a little bit about the reticulated versus the granular medias. This goes into the reticulated media versus a granular a little bit. The advantage of running a reticulated media is we get multi-directional dispersion when your water passes by it. We have a lot more surface area, and it's going in. As your water passes, you're getting coverage in several directions as opposed to just a downflow application. And then in backwash, it does not take nearly as much water to backwash these units, so you have a big water savings. As these go into backwash, you can reduce the usage there, so you actually save water over time using this type of media.
Great. All right, so that's excellent. And thanks for coming on and giving that to us today. And guys, Jason will be on till the end so he can take some questions. Once we get through, we're going to talk about another issue that's going on, and that's the rising costs of water and sewer. And this is a great graph if you're looking at your 401k or retirement fund, but unfortunately, for many of us, that's not the case. This is actually what the average cost of water and sewer has increased over the last 10 or so years, which has been about 80%. And as you can see from this, it is almost triple. It's almost tripled in cost compared to anything else that's out there. All other items combined, and more than 4 times as much as food has increased over the last 10 to 12 years. So we know, and many of you are already aware of this, we know it's a problem today, and today we're going to talk about a solution, which is the smart valve. So what the smart valve essentially does is it corrects a mistake that over 99% of the water meters out there make, and they don't distinguish between water and air, they only count volume. The smart valve is available in residential and commercial sizes from 3/4 inch all the way up to 12 inch. Can be installed vertically or horizontally. It's installed on the user side of the meter. So the order would be water meter, any backflow prevention device, then the smart valve, then any other equipment like a pressure reducing valve or booster system. Can be installed vertically or horizontally, as you see here. It's double threaded up to 2 inch, and then it's a flange install after that. The other important factor with the smart valve is it's the only externally adjusting valve that's on the market, which means you get a custom fit for your building or property, or for the plumbers that are on the call here, for any of your customers, whether they're a residential or a commercial customer, you're able to adjust that both at the time of installation and even down the road if conditions change. So you're always able to adjust this without uninstalling it and returning it to the manufacturer for a change. You can do it yourself right on site. It's not required. It's very much a set it and forget it product. There's no maintenance to it once it's installed. And the two main benefits, what the smart valve actually does is it's going to create a steady stream through your meter, meaning that when the water passes through your meter, it's going to run very calmly, very clear. You won't see pockets of air running through there if you could look at it. And that's going to prevent the meter from overspinning. So besides that, it's also going to take any pockets of air that are present in the line, which occur when you have a demand, right? You have a pressure drop, pockets of air expand. That's what causes the meter to overcharge you. What the smart valve does is keeps those pockets of air compressed. So they're very, very tiny. And when they pass through the meter, they don't register anymore. So essentially, it's acting like a toll booth. It's keeping everything between it and the meter at a constant or very close to constant pressure. So that way you don't have those pressure drops. You don't allow pockets of air to expand and then register on the meter, and you don't have overspinning of the meter because the water is flowing through normally. There's no drop in pressure. There's no cavitation. It keeps it where you're paying for what you should be paying for, which is the water usage and not the air or any cavitation causing the meter to overspin. We had a quick question on this. And like I said, if you can hold it to the end, great. But we had a question, where does the air go? The air is still within the line. It's just compressed, meaning that, when you have it normally, if you think like a bottle of soda, right? you look at a bottle of soda when it's closed and it's kept in a pressurized state, you just see liquid, right? When you go to open that bottle of soda, you see the gas rush to the top, right? That's what's happening within your line. You have air present. We know H2O. There's air present in the line, and there's always going to be air present in the line. But what the smart valve essentially does is make sure everything between it and the meter stays at a constant pressure. And what you have then is just clear liquid coming through. You don't remove the air from the line, but it does keep it compressed so that they're so tiny, the particles of air, they don't register on the meter anymore. We actually have a good video up on our website. You can see that live, both with the smart valve and without, so you get an idea of that. I'm happy to. It's on our smart valve page on our website. So some of the key points with the smart valve and why it's a viable solution today. For commercial properties, which many of our attendees are on today, are property owners or property managers. Typically, the return on investment is less than a year. As the cost of water and sewer increases, you're going to see increased savings, because as the costs go up, if you're saving the same percentage, you're going to see an increased savings over time. From a results standpoint, 98% of our users, and this is going back many, many years, even before the adjustable version came out, save 10% or more. And since 2018, our average savings has been over 20%. I think it's around 22, 23% over the last 3.5 years or so since the adjustable version came out. It's the only externally adjustable valve that's on the marketplace. It's USA made, has a 10-year manufacturer's warranty, and we offer a 90-day money-back guarantee for anyone who wants to take advantage of this product. I want to kind of slow up for 1 second. We have the manufacturer of the smart valve on the call. He just popped in, so I want to give him a few minutes just to explain what has come out in terms of the new version of the valve. I want to give him a few minutes just to jump on the call here. So let me see if I can unmute you, Jeff, and get you on board here. Bear with me a second. It's not letting me unmute Jeff for some reason. Jeff, are you there?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. Okay. Go ahead, Jeff. The floor is yours. This is the manufacturer flow dynamics of the smart valve. So he wanted to say a few words today to everyone on.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. Thanks, Mike. I think, first, just to tag on to what you were saying about that one question is, just to simply state it, what we're doing here is we're using pressure to control volume, right? There's a direct relationship when you're talking about air, right? We can't compress liquids, but we can compress gases. So there's a direct relationship between volume and pressure in gases. So when pressure is high, volume is low, and vice versa. So if we can maintain higher pressure at the meter, then the volume is going to stay less, stay smaller. And since the meters are measuring volume, it has a direct effect on your bill. And that's both on your water and sewer bill, because your sewer bill is always almost always based on the water meter reading. So that's how we're doing it. We're just using pressure, controlling pressure to control volume. You want me to chat about the new design that we're just coming out with? It's very early on. It's not widely available yet, but we're just starting to produce them now. It's a pretty exciting advancement, and this is going to be for our flanged valve, so basically 3-inch pipe and larger. And the difference is that our current design, and this will still be true for our threaded valves, our 2-inch and smaller, are basically what you call a variable spring-loaded check valve, right? They're using a main spring as the force generator, and a plunger. They're kind of controlling the opening and closing of a plunger based on pressure drop and demand from the user side. And the new design is not going to use a spring as the force generator. It's basically what we call a 2-stage valve. It's a balancing valve that it's going to use the hydrostatic pressure itself of the system to control the pressure upstream. It's still doing the same job. We're still managing pressure to control the volume of the gases. We're doing it differently in a little bit better way that has some advantages. And what those advantages are is, number one, it's going to allow us, the design is going to allow us to have much greater flow rate capacities. So that has a couple of benefits. Obviously, number one is, there were times with the other valve that we need to upsize the valve, based on flow rate. So, there could be a case where you have a 4-inch line, but you need a 6-inch smart valve. So that should be almost non-existent now with this new design. So we have much greater flow rate capacities. That also has a benefit of, every property, and there's no way to really know exactly what this is ahead of time. Every property has a kind of the quote-unquote perfect setting for a valve, right? To create this effect, there's a perfect setting. And again, I'll repeat, there's no way in advance to know what that perfect setting is. You have to be able to find it. And they're kind of, if you think about the range of possibilities, if you create not enough force, if we're using our spring or the hydrostatic valve, if your force is too weak, what you're going to end up with is less savings than you could have had, or maybe no savings at all even. If your force is too strong, you're going to create, basically what's going to show up in the property is too much pressure loss. And now you're going to have complaints and problems, and that's certainly no good. So what we're trying to find is that Goldilocks zone right in the middle, right? The strongest effect we can generate to get the best results, but that also causes no problems. So how do you find that? Well, in the old days with the first generation non-adjustable valve, you're basically throwing darts blindfolded. You're kind of taking educated guesses as to what the right spring force was to use. And then when you're wrong, which is most of the time, you have to shut off the water, take that valve out, change the spring, and keep doing that. And then if anything changes, you're doing that again. So that's why we evolved to the adjustable version, because now we could start it, put it in at a 0 setting, turn the water on, and then calibrate it to the system and find that good setting on a live system, and never have to go back and shut that water off again, and can always make adjustments. So now we're trying to find that perfect setting, and a valve is going to have a range of possible settings on it. And we want the perfect setting to be somewhere in the middle of the highest and lowest setting, right? We don't want it to be outside that envelope. We want it to be somewhere in the middle so that we can find it. Well, the reason, what happens is if your flow rate capacity is not enough, it's possible that even at the minimum setting, you're causing too much pressure drop, right? And that's why we would sometimes have to upsize a valve. It's also possible on the other end that the perfect setting is outside your envelope on the other side, where you want it to be a stronger setting than you really could get. So this new valve basically is going to have a much wider range of possible settings to make sure that in almost all cases, that perfect setting is somewhere within the envelope of our settings. So at the minimum setting, a higher flow rate means that at a minimum setting, it's much less pressure drop, which means we should never stick in a valve and have too much pressure loss and need a bigger size valve would be the solution to that. And on the other end, we can now create almost unlimited resistance to the point where we can create too much, right? If you overset this valve, it will cause too much pressure drop. There will be cases with the current design that will reach the maximum setting, and that's it, and the system is still fine. It's not too much pressure loss. They might get good results, but we could have done better. Now that won't happen. Now our strongest setting is going to be much, much stronger in all cases. The final benefit of the new design is that the second gen version that we've been dealing with since 2017, the way it's adjusted was with a calibration tool and a little bit of muscle. And now that goes away. You can basically do it with your fingertips. It's going to have a little dial. It's kind of like your guitar amplifier. It's got, from 0 to 100% is what our dial will show. There'll be, 10, 20, all the way up to 100% of the effect. And you can dial it with your fingers. You can use a 1/8-inch hex key that comes with it, and it's got a locking nut that, if you set it at the right setting is 60%, you lock that locking nut down, it'll stay there, and it's a heck of a lot easier. There would be times, especially the larger the valve gets, the more difficult the adjustment would be. So sometimes with 6, 8-inch valves, the adjustment would be, could be very challenging. Now it's just, like I said, a fingertip operation. So that's a little teaser on the new design that we're coming out with. We're super excited about it. Nobody has anything else like it. Just as a side note, that balancing technology, that two-stage kind of balancing effect, is something we kind of borrowed from fuel injection industry. It's been used how fuel injectors work for a long time, and we have some brilliant engineers who realized that they could take the physics of that and apply it to this, and it's really freaking amazing, if you ask me. So that's it in a large nutshell. So if there are any other questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Yeah, if anyone has, because I know, Jeff, you can't stay too long. So if anybody has any specific questions for Jeff, if you want to put them in the chat box, he's here for a few more minutes. Otherwise, I can. And I'm sure
I can't see the chat box, so you can read them out to me. But I'm just on my phone.
Yep. No, that's okay. So if anybody has any specific questions for Jeff, the manufacturer, I can answer probably 95%. But if you have anything specifically about the new design or any questions about that, feel free to type in the chat box there, and be happy to get them answered. And if not, then I can proceed on. But I'll give it a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions specifically for Jeff? Feel free to fire away. And so far, I don't see any yet. So I'll give it another 30 seconds or so. And if not, we can always, if I can't answer your question later on, certainly I can get with Jeff and, relay that to you. But looks like we're good, Jeff. So I appreciate you coming out. Wait, we got one here. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, so we have low flow and high flow valves that go through the meter. Which line does the smart valve get put on?
Good question. So you're talking about like a high-low meter, compound meter. The answer is both, because the valve is going to be downstream of the meter, and it can be quite far downstream depending on some other conditions. The general rule of installing the valve is it's downstream of the meter. Usually if there's a backflow preventer, we're going to be downstream of that. You're talking about a commercial meter. Obviously there's no high-low meters in residential. So you're going to be downstream of the backflow preventer most of the time. You're going to be before a booster pump, before a PRV, before any tanks if they have like a holding tank, or before the pipe splits. Or if we go after the pipe splits, then you got to get both of the legs. But so we're going to be after the meter. The meter, a high-low meter, is usually one, combined unit. And we're going to be after, so the valve is going to work for both of those simultaneously. So,
Great.
So we're not differentiating between those.
Okay. Any other questions for Jeff? And like I said, I can probably answer most of the questions.
But the point to kind of tag on to that is just keep in mind that what we're doing, again, is we're kind of like a circuit breaker, right? We're separating the meter. The effect that we're fixing is the pressure drop that's coming from the facility, right? This isn't about, air bubbles are coming from the city. Air is everywhere in the line. It's an important part of a water system, right? The water systems are pressurized. They're not vacuums. We need air there because we're using pressure drop to move water. And when the pressure dropped, if there wasn't air to take up that volume, then we would have cavitation, air hammering, all kinds of problems, damage. So the air is an important part of the system. It's everywhere in the system. And what we're doing is we're dropping pressure. When you open a faucet in your building, you're causing a pressure drop there. That pressure drop travels upstream throughout the system as the water travels downstream throughout the system. And all we're doing is we're separating the meter from the building so that that pressure drop that started at our faucet or our pump or whatever it is gets stopped at the smart valve. And then everything else upstream stays as close as we can keep it to city pressure. So basically we're by stopping that pressure drop, everything upstream, including the meter, including even the backflow preventer, everything upstream is staying at a higher pressure. We're just not letting that pressure go up and down where the meter is. Everything upstream of the smart valve like it did before. So again, we're just managing pressure from the smart valve upstream. After the water passes through the smart valve, pressure drops back down, and it's going into the building just like it was before. It's that simple.
Okay. Well, I think that was, I think that's going to give everybody a good insight here. And I don't see any other questions, so we'll send you back to the California sun out there and some surfing, I'm sure, sometime this afternoon. But
that's exactly what I'm doing today. I wish.
Well, Jeff, thank you for coming
All
on
right,
today.
thanks, Mike. Thank you, everybody. Let us know if we can help with any sales.
Okay, great. So I'm going to move on in my presentation here, and just wanted to show you guys, this is not all, but this is just an example of some nationally recognized companies that have utilized the smart valve already. We keep adding to this list every single day, and there really wasn't a lot of room to put them all in here, but as you can see, it's definitely got national recognition. And again, these are some of the main, most of these on here listed are hotels, but we've done everything from stadiums to, high-rise buildings to, there's such a wide range for smart valve, and anything from even, we've had these in nail salons and bar restaurants, and so many other different small commercial all the way up to the largest lines that are out there 12 inches and above. So I just want you guys to get an idea of some of the different companies that have utilized smart valve. I didn't go too many. I want to show you one quick example of the effect of the smart valve, the impact that it has. And this is a little bit of an older client. This is one of the first people to actually get the adjustable version of the valve. And it was it's a small commercial building in New York City. Their water sewer costs were around $800 to $900 a quarter. It's a little difficult to see, but basically they saved about 26% on average. And this, we've actually kept in touch with this customer and seen anywhere from 22 to 29% on a quarterly basis savings over what they were paying before. So we have plenty of case studies, and I'm happy to send many more to you. But again, I want to keep today's presentation very simple and kind of go through, what, I wanted to get to the meat and potatoes and let you see what, and get to your questions here. We had a couple, this is two of very many testimonials we have out there. The first one on the left is from an engineer in New York City where they installed a smart valve. First 5 months, they saw a savings of almost 25%. They're still in the process of doing all their other buildings, which is about 22. And on the right there, this was a Roca Real Estate, which has multiple buildings in Michigan. As you can see from his testimonial, they reduced their usage by well over 50%. At one point, it was at 70%, which is, to be honest, is a rare occurrence. You probably won't see that much savings. But they installed over 50 additional smart valves after their first 4-inch valve they put in, and they saw incredible results across the board. One thing many of you on here I've mentioned to already, but we do, this is all about return on investment, right? This is about, we're asking you to purchase a solution to have installed. When are we going to get our money back? How are we going to do this? Well, any property owner and for the plumbers on here, obviously for any of your clients as well, we offer a free evaluation. And this is one of the key parts of that evaluation. We take, this example here shows someone with a $10,000 a month water and sewer cost. And I think what's very telling is because water and sewer goes up on average at least 5% every single year, that usage you're using today, over the next 10 years, it's going to increase by 50% higher just over the next 10 years, actually more than that when you factor in the increase. So what we're showing you here, and every property that provides the basic information to us will get this in their presentation, it shows you a good, great, and extraordinary result. 10% is a good result, and it shows you what you're going to save over the next 10 years, which is what the manufacturer's warranty is on the valve. And then also importantly, it shows you the total savings while the product's in warranty. So we highlight the middle because that's the most common result. Most customers save between 15 and 25% on their water sewer usage. And as you can see over time, what's important about this is the sooner you put it in, the faster you get ahead of the curve of rising water sewer costs. Because today your bill could be $10,000 a month. By the time you get to 2030, you're looking at well over $15,000 a month for that same usage. So the faster you get this in, the faster you start saving money. And again, for most commercial properties, the return on investment for the valve is usually less than a year. And in many cases, that even includes the cost they incur to get it installed as well. So what is the smart valve proposition? What we typically recommend for customers is a two-prong approach to this. Obviously, get the smart valve installed, which as we mentioned, is going to create that, keep everything in a pressurized state, keep the pressure constant between the smart valve and the meter. You're going to see savings between 15 and 25%. And then also implement the water signal device, which we had mentioned earlier, is a device that provides you long-term peace of mind. It will give you daily results on your usage. You'll be able to see more quickly the smart valve working. But again, it gives you that peace of mind knowing that if you have, you can set the water signal, basically you can set to a certain daily usage. And if you exceed that usage by X amount of percent, it's going to alert you. It's going to send you a text. It's going to send you an email. It's going to say, hey, you're outside your normal usage. Something could be wrong here. You might have a leak. And more often than not, it usually is a leak if you're outside your daily usage. So normally, if you think about it, if you're on a quarterly bill or even a monthly bill, you might have to wait days, weeks, even months to find out that, hey, we've got a leak somewhere, because it could be in an area that's not the public view, right? So again, peace of mind knowing that you're able to see your usage on a daily basis right on your desktop or your phone even. And you can even do this over multiple properties. If you're a property manager or you manage multiple locations, you could, if you have water signal installed at each location, you can see all your properties on one dashboard, which makes your life a lot easier as well, but also frees up time for you to do other things and be able to kind of pull up one screen to even show, the powers that be, hey, these are all our properties, this is our usage on a daily basis, and so on and so forth. So that is all I have on smart valve. I want to leave a lot of time for questions. So there's about 15 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions they want to plug into the chat box there? I'd be happy to answer any questions on your guys' minds. Also, any questions for Jason as well, obviously. Okay, Jason, I just unlocked your mic as well. Okay, we have a question. Let's see. Okay, any trouble getting permits for this in Maryland? I've not heard of any issues in terms of permits or anything. The reason why, Leanne, is that because it's installed on the user side of the meter, there should be no issues because you're technically responsible for anything on your side of the meter. Again, we have not had any problems. By the way, the smart valve does have all the ANSI and NSF certifications for potable water. So, I mean, you need, obviously, we don't know the details of every single municipality that's out there, but because it's on the user side of the meter, this is almost like if you were installing a pressure reducing valve or even a booster system. So, again, check with your local municipality, obviously, because we can't keep track of every single ordinance that's out there. But because it's on the user side of the meter, there should not be any required permits for that. But definitely check ahead of time. Okay. Any other questions from anyone, either for myself or for Jason? Again, you can just type them in the chat box there if you have any questions. Of course, we're available if you want to call us directly. Our phone number is there as well, or send us an email. We're happy to answer any questions offline as well. Okay, I don't see any other questions there. I hope what I did today was educational. I hope we were able to answer. I guess I answered most of your questions when I went through the presentation. Again, you can feel free to give us a call or reach out to us via email if you have any other questions that you think of afterwards. I want to thank Jason again and Jeff. I know Jeff is not on the call now, but I want to thank them both again for coming on today. I appreciate you guys putting the time in to help out and educate our customers here about the solutions you offer. And with that being said, if anybody else, feel free to reach out to us. Again, we offer free evaluations for any property owner out there. For the plumbers on the call, we have some programs for you guys as well. So give us a call. We can discuss those further. And I hope that you guys found this educational today and we answered all your questions. And again, give us a call. And happy to answer any more questions and take a look at your unique situation, see how we can help. So with that being said, I'm going to end the webinar. Thanks you everyone again for coming on today and attending, and we hope to hear from all of you soon. Hey, everyone, have a great day, and thanks again.